Here we have a pre-calculus problem. Okay, let's go with the question. In a video game, two characters follow paths represented by r equals to square root of 3 positive 2 times cosine theta and r is equal to 4 cosine theta respectively. The characters travel at different speeds and could collide with each other. So which values of theta correspond to possible collision points? Check all that apply. Okay, so if two characters collide, then the path given by the first character r equals to square root of 3 positive 2 times cosine theta, and the path given by the second character, so that is given by the polar equation r is equal to 4 cosine theta, must intersect at a particular point. So the point of intersection of the two given polar curves is called the collision point. Okay, so to find the point of intersection or the collision point, what we need to do is we have to solve the given polar equations which represent the paths of the two characters. Okay, now let's solve the given two polar equations. For that, what I have to do is I have to write r equals to r. So we can get the stuff for the first r from the first polar equation. So that is we have square root of 3 positive 2 times cosine theta we have for r. So for the r over here on the left side, we can plug in this stuff from the first polar equation. So then I am getting square root of 3 positive 2 times cosine theta. And for the r we have on the right side, we can plug in the stuff from the second polar equation. That is we have 4 cosine theta equals to r. So for this r we can plug in 4 cosine theta. Okay, so now we have to solve for theta because we are solving the given two equations which represent the paths of the two characters. Okay, to solve for cosine theta, so first I have to solve for theta. So for that, first I have to solve for cosine theta. So here cosine theta appears on both sides of the equation. So let me get rid of this positive 2 cosine theta over here on the left side. For that, I have to subtract 2 cosine theta from both sides. When I subtract 2 cosine theta from both sides, this positive 2 cosine theta, negative 2 cosine theta will cancel out. I just have the square root of 3 on the left side. And when I simplify this one, I'm getting 2 times cosine theta. So now I divide both sides by 2. So when I do so, this 2 will cancel out. So finally, I'm getting cosine theta is equal to square root of 3 over 2. So here the value of cosine theta is positive. Okay, so in which quadrants the value of cosine theta is positive? Okay, let me draw the 4 quadrants. Okay, here we have 4 quadrants, and here we have 0 degree and 90, or it can be written as pi over 2, and here 180 or pi. Here 270 or 3 pi over 2, and here we have 2 pi or 360 degree. Okay, here so we can consider the concept of ASTC. What is ASTC? So we have A in the, actually this is from 0 to pi over 2, it's a first quadrant, and pi over 2 to pi second quadrant, and pi to 3 pi over 2 is third quadrant, and 3 pi over 2 to 2 pi it's fourth quadrant. So we have to consider the ASTC concept. What is meant by ASTC? A means first quadrant, S means second quadrant, T means third quadrant, and C means fourth quadrant. Okay, so here we have C for the fourth quadrant, and so A means, okay, here for the first quadrant we have A. A means in the first quadrant all trigonometric ratios are positive. Usually we have 3 basic trigonometric ratios, sine, cosine, and tangent, and 3 reciprocal trigonometric ratios, cosecant, secant, cotangent. All 6 trigonometric ratios are positive in the first quadrant. That's why we have A for the first quadrant. And the second quadrant we have sine and its reciprocal cosecant. Only these 2 trigonometric ratios are positive, the rest are negative. And for third quadrant we have T. T means in the third quadrant tangent and its reciprocal cotangent are positive, the rest are negative. Okay, for the last quadrant, I mean for the fourth quadrant we have C. C means cosine and secant. Only the 2 trigonometric ratios are positive in the fourth quadrant. So here we have only cosine theta. So cosine theta also its values are positive. That is square root of 3 over 2 here is positive. Since cosine theta is positive, we have to consider the quadrants in which the cosine theta is positive. So in first quadrant, all trigonometric ratios are positive. So cosine is also positive in the first quadrant. And only in the fourth quadrant cosine is positive. So that means here. So we'll be getting angle measure theta in this case in the first quadrant and fourth quadrant, because only in those 2 quadrants cosine are positive. Okay, using trigonometric ratio table or unit circle, we can find the angle measure for theta, for which the value of cosine is square root of 3 over 2. So we'll be getting the value of cosine as square root of 3 over 2 when theta is equal to pi over 6 or 30 degree. So here we can take 30 degree pi over 6. So when the angle measure is pi over 6 in the first quadrant, the value of cosine is square root of 3 over 2. And also to get the angle measure in the fourth quadrant, for which the value of cosine is square root of 3 over 2, we have to take the same pi over 6 angle measure as a reference angle in the fourth quadrant. So let me do it. Now I'm going to take this pi over 6 the same pi over 6 as a reference angle. Okay, so when I take pi over 6 as a reference angle, and here we have 2 pi, then what angle measure should be over here? So to find the angle measure over here, we have to decrease this 2 pi by pi over 6. So the angle measure over here in the fourth quadrant is 2 pi negative pi over 6. So when I simplify this one, I'll be getting 11 pi over 6. So in the first quadrant, so when the angle measure is pi over 6, the value of cosine theta is square root of 3 over 2. And in the fourth quadrant, when the angle measure is 11 pi over 6, the value of cosine theta is square root of 3 over 2. So for the two angle measures, when theta is equal to pi over 6, this is in first quadrant, and theta is equal to 11 pi over 6, this is in fourth quadrant. So for these two angle measures, the value of cosine is square root of 3 over 2. So here among the given choices, so the first one is correct, and the last one is correct.